Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Welcome, and thanks so much for joining us for another installment of the Story of Film and Odyssey. Tonight we're going to bring you Chapter 7 of this 15-episode series, this particular chapter about how the European New Wave movement of the 50s and into the 60s influenced film everywhere so much. And joining me again is Mark Cousins, the writer, director, and narrator of the series. Welcome back, Mark.
Thank you, Robert.
Now, tell us about what the New Wave is all about, and why did it influence everybody so much?
Well, the New Wave was like a response to the changing times. As we said last week, the 1950s were bursting at the seams.
And
social change, confused. And the New Wave said, okay, let's just explode cinema. Let's plant a bomb under the movies and see where the fragments fall.
And the New Wave people were?
Jean-Luc Godard, Agnès Varda, a great director, François Truffaut.
But these are a lot of French former critics,
yes,
who really knew film,
yes,
but wanted film to go in a different direction.
Yes, they wanted it to be more jaggy, more fragmented, more like modern life.
And they kind of said, well, they're not doing it, let's do it. Let's make a film.
Let's do it.
Each make a film and show them.
And they said, let's make personal cinema.
Right.
They loved Hollywood. They absolutely loved John Ford. They loved Howard Hawks. But they wanted to make something a bit like more personal, as if a camera was like a pen and you could write your autobiography. So when you look at the films that they made, they're about real people without makeup on the streets of Paris, sitting in cafes, talking about ideas, falling in love, flirting, the stuff that people do in Paris, you know, and they wanted to capture that. I don't think even they knew how influential they would be. This new wave that started in Paris literally swept around the world.
Right.
Nowhere in the world was uninfluenced by their discoveries, their sense of their new modernity, you could say.
Now, you talked to many of these people, like Bertolucci.
Yes.
You interviewed, that's in this segment. Were they surprised about what they had done?
Their jaw dropped open. Bertolucci talks about being in Italy when the great filmmaker Pasolini was doing his first films. And he goes like this: we did not know that cinema could be so much about our lives. Cinema was something done to you. It was a fantasy world. It was a kind of utopia in some sense. It came from elsewhere. Suddenly, you could move the camera whichever way you wanted. You could put your own politics, your own sexuality, anything on screen. And they were shocked. They didn't know. It was almost like they thought they would have to force the door down, and it just fell open.
Right. I had the great pleasure of interviewing Jean-Paul Belmondo at our film festival in Los Angeles, and he said that one reason he was so free in the film and had such a good time making it was they didn't think it was ever going to be released. He said, we knew we were making garbage. This wasn't going to be, nobody was going to see this movie, so we felt very free to do all this stuff. And he said they couldn't believe it when this turned out to be an international success that made them all famous.
And when you're an actor like Belmondo and you're in a film where they don't ask you to do take after take after take, and they don't go wide, medium, close, over the shoulder, you don't do any of that. It feels unprofessional but fresh.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
when you come to the edit suite, you don't have perfect coverage, so you jump cut.
Right.
It's a shock, and you're taught in film schools you do not jump cut.
Yeah.
And yet it looked great.
Breaking the rules.
Breaking the rules.
Yeah. Well, let's have a look. Here being shown for the first time, not just on TCM, but on U.S. television, Chapter 7 of the Story of Film and Odyssey, subtitled The Shock of the New Modern Filmmaking in Western Europe.